What's good, YouTube? Flash Piece back for another video. One of the auxiliary topics that have been floating around right now as a result of the fallout between Stephen A. Smith and Monica McNutt, which came on the heels of the Caitlin Clark WNBA Rise thing, has been now the male versus woman thing. Age-old, time-tested, ridiculous argument. Of men who don't understand women, women who don't understand men, women who come out, argue their side, men believing that the women are nagging, so on and so forth. You won't find me getting into much of it here because I understand it's dynamic and I understand that it's also ridiculous to get into it. Men and women were not created to compete with one another. Not at all. Nations were created to compete with one another, which is why we actually use the word race, when it comes to different nations and tribes. It was born out of that particular colonial era where race was happening, okay? France, England, all of them were racing. Really, you got to look that up to get what I'm getting at, okay? The male and the female dynamic are two types of people who were created by God, who serve specific purposes that benefit the overall institution of humanity or society, okay? That's what male and female does. Male and female in the human world represent the yin and the yang. Yin and the yang is the Eastern way of talking about active and passive elements or energy that pervades the creation. Sun and moon, active, passive. Sky and earth, active, passive. Day and night, active, passive. Look into metaphysics of how it all works. Men and women, we spend a lot of time trying to figure out why we don't understand each other, why we don't get each other. When really, you're not understanding. Humanity is still continuing. So that means men and women are still doing the deed that needs to be done in order to continue humanity, to still getting married, still having sex, still producing children. So there's a part of it that is happening that has absolutely nothing to do with our consciousness and whether or not we want this or want that. Correct or not? Okay. So in the same way that the sun and the moon are going to serve their purpose without understanding each other, in the way that day and night is going to serve their purpose without understanding each other, in the same way that the sand and the beach, or should I say the ocean and the beach are going to serve their purpose without understanding each other, the same goes for men and women. This is why I don't spend a whole lot of time feeling some type of way about Cari Champion speaking how she feels, or feeling some type of way when what's the other girl on ESPN talks about men need to do this, or when Monica McNutt does it or whatever. Why? Because I'm a man. I'm gonna be out here doing man shit, baby. Right? And I don't mean that in no type of condescending way, but it's the truth. As a man, I understand purpose. My purpose is what? To do all that I can to live my life to serve the one who created me, to show gratitude to the one who created me, to show servitude and to show and to reach the potential that was given and placed inside of me. That's my focus as a man. I focus on that. Any woman in my life that I'm going to deal with, I'm going to suggest she does the same. She was created by her creator to do what it is that she's got to do to live out the potential that she has to live. And guess what? When she sees that I got that type of focus, I got that type of thing where what is being done for my creator, it's easy for her to fall in line with that. It's easy for her to jump on with that. Men, this has to be your mentality. That you are a train that is starting at one end of the line. Like in Philadelphia, we have the subway that starts in Fern Rock. And it ends at Eagle Stadium, right? Which used to be called Patterson Avenue. And you tell her, baby, I'm at Fern Rock, and I'm going to get to Patterson. Now it's you. Either you jump on this train or you don't. But the train is going. That's it, bro. That's it. Don't make it more complicated than that. This train is going to Patterson. You jumping on, you with me. If not, okay. If you're not jumping on at Oregon at Fern Rock, someone's gonna jump on at Olney. You ain't jumping on there, somebody's gonna jump on at Logan. You ain't jumping on at Logan, someone's gonna jump on at Wyoming. You ain't jumping on at Wyoming, someone's gonna jump on at North Philly Station, Girard Station. These are all different stations en route to Patterson Avenue. Somebody gonna jump on somewhere. But a man, that's all he does. A man don't stop the train to sit around and argue, with a woman who's trying to show her perspective. No, let her have her perspective. She got to find herself. She got to find her relationship with her Lord. Now, the problem with a lot of you jokers out here is you believe that a woman is supposed to submit to you out of a misunderstanding of what's being put in the scripture. You believe that a woman is supposed to submit to you because of something that is intrinsically in you as a man. That's the problem that you have. No. If a woman is going to submit to you, it comes as a result of her submission to God. She's going to do that out of a desire to please her Lord, because a woman has a relationship with her Lord. Some of these guys out here is spreading this idea, this false notion, that a man has a relationship with God, but the woman has no access to God, but you act as her intermediary to God. Now, what you done right there is you made yourself a partner with God, or you made yourself a deity. And nigga, you done lost your damn mind. And that's your problem. Now, you got to be who you are. You got to know your purpose. And when that happens, the value that she sees, you ain't got to spend a whole lot of time trying to convince her. She'll see that. And if she don't see it, then she ain't the one. You get me? Okay. Now, when it comes to dealing with women that are not in a relationship with you, listen, you don't have to get into arguments and all of that stuff. It's a waste of time. Like a Stephen A. Smith, right? He built what he built. For him, for whatever reason he built that. Okay? He feels as though he helped Monica McNutt, helped open doors for her, and so on. So because of that, he feels like he can't be questioned, or he can't be told that he didn't do enough or anything like that, because he feel like, hey, look, I did this for you, so I'm looking for certain type of gratitude. Now, that's the problem with a lot of y'all, and a lot of us, is you're going to find yourself in those situations coming as a result of the intention you initially had. This is the thing about intention. This is the power of intention. If I'm Stephen A. Smith and I'm deciding to open doors, it all depends on the frequency I'm on. I talked about frequency yesterday. If I'm doing it for God, okay, and if for some of you who don't believe in God, you don't want to, okay, let's say I'm doing it for black people. Just pulling that out there. I don't know. Let's say I'm doing it for black people. That's the purpose. And I open the door. And then this brings Monica McNutt in. And Igumike and all of that. Okay? And then they challenge me. If I feel some type of way, you know what that tells me? That tells me that I ain't really doing it for black people. I'm doing it because I'm looking for gratitude from somebody. I'm looking for somebody to see and feel like I did something for them. And this is when the intention isn't pure. Right? Because there's different frequencies. One frequency is God frequency. You're doing it for that reason, which is beyond that. You're expecting your reward, your ultimate reward, to come later after you leave this world. Then there's the frequency, which is still pretty high, that you're doing it for your people. And there ain't no problem with that, doing something for your people. Because part of your people is part of who God brought you into this world to be affiliated with. Okay? So you're honoring that. So you're doing it for your people. And then there's the frequency, you doing it for self-aggrandizement. You want people to be like, you know what? That nigga right there is the man. He helped all these people out. And all Stephen A. Smith did was make it look like that's the reason he's really doing it. Right? This is low frequency. Low frequency. And I'm not even going to criticize them. I know most people don't even understand this, what I'm talking about right now. Okay? So that's why it became this issue of these women don't have accountability, they're not grateful, they're not this and that. Okay? Now, there is an element of gratitude that's true. Should Monica McNutt, should Gwen K and all these people who Stephen A. Smith felt like he put them in place, should they have a sense of gratitude and all that? Absolutely, they should. Absolutely. But that gratitude is between who? If you're working on God frequency, or if you're working on for your people frequency, their gratitude is between them and God, that woman. Right? So two things can be true. Two things are happening here. There is no problem with being thankful. Being thankful is the proper response in any situation when you received a blessing or some act of good from someone. Wanting thanks or desiring thanks from people is a sickness, because now you want self-aggrandizement. Now, if you don't believe in God and all that is all that matters to you, then that's fine. But I'm telling you, that's low frequency. And this also relates to shame and guilt culture. In a shame culture where men are expected to live a certain life that's based on honor and chivalry, men are doing these things, doing what they do, meaning holding the door for women, protecting women, providing, and all of these different things that are characterized as being male characteristics in a traditional society. They are doing it for a reason that's higher than the woman. Whereas in a culture like this, where men don't understand, it was never passed down the real reason behind why men do these things. What happens is you're doing it for the woman, which is low frequency. When you're doing it for high frequency, that's for God. Middling frequency is to maintain chivalry. Low frequency is to do it for the women. I hope y'all following me. Because I'm hearing too many dudes out here talking about, hey man, these women, they saying they don't need a man. They saying it ain't important. They got it on their own. Brother, use some wisdom here. What do you expect to come out the mouth of the women? What do you expect to come out their mouth? You expect them to say, hey, all men, we need you. I need you. That's never going to happen. But you know the reality that they need a man. Right? You know that. Why? Because you understand the creation. Men and women both need each other. Don't make no mistake. We need women too. Unless you sitting around watching porn and doing, what porn makes you do, right? Unless you living like that, we need women and women need us for different reasons. So when a woman says that, you automatically dismiss that as nonsense when it's coming out their mouth, and you still do what you do as a man. Because honestly, if you're only being a chivalrous man and doing what men do because women want it, then guess who's the leader of the community? It's the women. Because you're doing it because they're asking for it. You're looking for self-aggrandizement as opposed to just doing what the fuck you supposed to do anyway, because that's just what comes with being the type of dude you are. Now, I hope you understand that. You do your part. If the passive does its part, or if the active does its part, the passive naturally is built to fall in line. When the active does its part, the passive is built to fall in line. And if there's nothing else that you're going to get from what I'm going to tell you, what I'm telling you is that if the active does its part, the passive has no choice but to fall in line. Thank you for listening.